Hey, what's up, guys? How you guys doing? Everybody doing well? I hope. We are going to check out this video. Trump's fury erupts as Greenland ditches U.S. for Canada's mega mining deal. This dude Trump, man, he stay furious. Donald Trump, the guy that stays furious, always got something going on. He's trying to deflect right now with the Obama situation, trying to blame Obama for something that happened back in 2016 because of the Jeffrey Epstein accusations that's involving Donald Trump. I think when this comes out, man, if something comes out negative where he's involved with this, my man might be impeached. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't think he's gonna last all 4 years if something comes out. Who knows? We'll see. But as soon as we can get him up out of there, the better. So let's get into this video. Ms. B, my friends, let's go.
This morning, Denmark's Prime Minister has praised the people of Greenland for their resilience amid mounting pressure from the Trump administration to take control of the semi-autonomous Danish territory.
And the world needs us to have Greenland, including Denmark. Denmark has to have us have Greenland.
Why?
While the world was fixated on power struggles between superpowers, Canada quietly pulled off one of the most surprising geopolitical plays in recent Arctic history. With a $3 billion mining agreement tucked under its belt, it stepped into Greenland, not with threats or fanfare, but with deals too strategic to ignore. The move rattled the balance of power up north, especially after a thunderous promise from President Trump in early 2025 to annex Greenland, one way or another.
And I think we're going to get it. One way or the other, we're going to get it.
That speech may have grabbed headlines, but behind the scenes, Canada had already locked in partnerships with Greenland and the European Union. And just like that, the Arctic's future wasn't being shaped by a single dominant force. It was being negotiated by those who knew how to play smarter. After reclaiming the presidency in November 2024, Donald Trump wasted no time revisiting a list of unfinished ambitions. Some were familiar: a southern border wall, an elusive peace in Ukraine, but one stood out for its sheer boldness, annexing Greenland.
What do you feel about Trump? What stupid human in the world like a Trump?
By March 2025, his
I used to have a friend when I was young. I was 9. She was an older lady, and she used to let me come over and walk her dog. I think she had a ferret as well, if I remember. She used to let us come over and walk the dog and stuff like that. Very nice lady. She was from Greenland. So the people of Greenland, man, they're very nice.
Rhetoric had taken a sharp turn. During a charged address to Congress, he shifted from transactional talk to outright claims, calling for control of the island beyond mere access. Behind closed doors, the National Security Council revived 2 documents from the Cold War era. One outlined protocols for closing the Arctic gap under President Eisenhower, while the other suggested updates to the Thule radar belt drafted in the 1980s. Both hinted at a serious push for ownership or long-term control involving Denmark. Trump's new Arctic campaign wasn't fueled only by military strategy. It was backed by a deep hunger for Greenland's natural resources. Pentagon leaders argued that Greenland's northern coast disrupted radar detection by creating a blind zone, shielding Russian submarines from early tracking. Yet analysts pointed elsewhere. Beneath Greenland's icy surface lay a staggering bounty, nearly 38 billion tons of rare earth elements like niobium, graphite and zirconium, along with over 17 billion barrels of oil. Missouri Senator Josh Hawley sounded the alarm, warning that if the United States failed to act, China would seize the advantage. The Trump administration framed Greenland's resources as essential to national security, urging Congress to fund a minerals-first strategy. But the message landed poorly in Nuuk and Copenhagen. The response from Greenlandic leaders was swift and candid. Officials voiced disbelief at Trump's posture, dismissing it as out of touch and deeply disrespectful.
Dear President Trump, listen very carefully. Greenland has been part of the Danish kingdom for 800 years. It is not for sale. Let me put it in words you might understand. Mr. Trump, off.
It was weird, saying Greenland was not
Oh my gosh. What am I just now seeing about this? Boy, he said, let me put it wild and clear. Loud and clear or wild and clear? What do you? It's never been.
Listen very carefully. Greenland has been part of the Danish kingdom for 800 years.
Okay.
It is not for sale. Let me put it in words you might understand. Mr. Trump, f*** off.
One called it wild and weird, saying Greenland was not a prize to be auctioned off. Denmark's Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen made her stance clear, declaring that Greenland belonged to its people. A joint statement issued in mid-March 2025 left no room for misinterpretation. Greenland's coalition government and the Danish parliament rejected any discussion of sovereignty transfers and warned that any strong-arm tactic from Washington would fracture NATO cohesion. Though Greenland remains part of the Danish kingdom, it has steadily built its own path toward economic autonomy. In recent years, the island aligned closely with Europe, especially after the European Union passed the Critical Raw Materials Act in 2023. Two Canadian companies, Greenland Resources Incorporated and Amarok Minerals, led the way in what would become a $3 billion agreement that changed the Arctic's direction. Greenland Resources, originally focused on molybdenum projects in Ontario, saw a unique opportunity, with molybdenum becoming increasingly vital for high-strength steel and Europe's demand rising. The company shifted focus. In late 2024, it signed a letter of intent with the European Investment Bank's Green Fund, receiving support from Denmark's Export Credit Agency. By March 2025, Greenland's cabinet granted the company a 3-decade mining license. The ore will be sent directly to European markets, especially in the steel sector, leaving Washington sidelined and stunned. Meanwhile, Amarok Minerals, a Canadian-listed exploration firm with shares also traded in Reykjavik and London, resurrected the Nalunaq gold project. The deposit had been idle due to logistical challenges, but fresh capital changed that. The company secured £45 million in funding, drawing investment from Denmark's investment arm, EFO, Norway's pension fund, and private equity groups in the UK and the US. Ironically, while Washington's leadership pushed for annexation, American investors unknowingly helped Canadian firms take the lead in Greenland's mining future. The US position within NATO began to show.
American investors helped Canada do this deal with Greenland.
While Washington's leadership pushed for annexation, American investors unknowingly helped Canadian firms take the lead in Greenland's mining.
Unknowingly, hold on, let's make sure. I'm missing some stuff. Unknowingly. Unknowingly helped Canada firms take the lead in Greenland's mining. Okay.
Future. The US position within NATO began to show cracks as this new Arctic alignment formed. Norway stood firmly with Denmark. Poland chose silence, likely to avoid disrupting its defence cooperation with Washington. Canada, however, issued clear warnings about the dangers of resource-based coercion. France took a more assertive approach, sending a nuclear submarine to patrol Baffin Bay and committing development funds toward building the Greenland airport. The message was clear. Europe was ready to protect its new Arctic interests. The consequences of the Canadian-EU deal reached beyond geopolitics and into the supply chains of American industry. Molybdenum, critical for building everything from electric vehicle frames to nuclear reactors, became harder for US companies to source. The Inflation Reduction Act's clean energy incentives depended heavily on domestic battery production, and Greenland's absence from US sourcing raised the material's risk profile. Defence contractors struggled as well. Lockheed Martin postponed its hypersonic missile tests. Raytheon turned to suppliers in Australia and Chile to fill gaps left by Greenland's pivot to Europe. Within Capitol Hill, opposition to Trump's Arctic approach gained momentum. Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski warned that escalating tensions would damage the environment and jeopardize key alliances. Democratic senators from the Northeast introduced a proposal aimed at collaborative mining efforts. The State Department's attempt to secure joint development rights with Denmark and Greenland failed, widening Washington's diplomatic isolation. Canada, in contrast, expanded its Arctic blueprint, described by national outlets as the Arctic Hexagon. The strategy included mining hubs from Baffin Island to Greenland, with support infrastructure tied to joint Canadian-American space operations. While Canada tolerated existing US military presence, it remained wary of unilateral action that could provoke territorial disputes, especially over the Northwest Passage. Any sign of aggression could open the door for China to step in. With its mining policies and new battery export rules in Ontario, Canada positioned itself as a stabilizing power between American and European interests. Energy played a central role in this emerging Arctic power structure. Cedar Energy, a Canadian firm, held early discussions about launching a floating liquefied natural gas plant near Disco Bay, targeting Eurasian buyers. The project offered an alternative to US LNG exports, which were under threat due to new restrictions imposed by the Trump administration. Germany, looking to reduce dependence on both Russian and American gas, viewed the Canadian Arctic project as a strategic solution. As the projects advanced, Greenland's economy began shifting. Revenue
Hold on, I need to hear that. Germany did what? So they
ports, which were under threat due to new restrictions imposed by the Trump administration. Germany, looking to reduce dependence on both Russian and American gas, viewed the Canadian Arctic project as a strategic solution. As the projects advanced, Greenland's economy began shifting. Revenues from molybdenum and gold provided new funding streams, while byproducts like silver and copper supported the EU's Blue Hydrogen initiative. The financial structure ensured that Greenland's future fund grew alongside its industries, creating a stable platform for self-reliance without depending on any single global power. What do you think this shift means for the Arctic and the balance of power between old allies? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you're into stories like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next.
seems like a chess move to me. While Trump is around running his mouth talking about what he needs to do and what he's gonna do, Canada went and did their stuff under the, without a lot of noise. Got a huge deal done, which is gonna help Canada, which is going to help Greenland, which is uniting Europe. Man, come on. Macron, he sent a submarine, a nuclear submarine to protect the seas over there. Come on. Come on. Germany, they're trying to be less dependent on American and Russian gas. Europe it's evident, man. It's evident. Europe right now is uniting, which they need to do, to show less dependence on America. When you have a fool like Trump in office that's capable of doing anything, you have to be united, man. You have to. But yeah, that's a good video. I really like to, I love the unity. I wish America could be more on the unity basis, but right now we're not. We're trying to strong arm stuff and take stuff from people. Come on. He said he's going to take Greenland one way or the other. Come on, bro. Really? It's crazy, man. Let me know what you guys thought about the video. How do you guys see it benefiting Canada in the Canadians' eyes? That's what I would like to know. Let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you guys later.